Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while. It's been about 4 years since I did a video, and in any event, it depends on what you count as video, because I know that literally I've got some things on my channel that in fact I'm pretty sure that somebody left a comment saying you need some music or something similar. Basically the music is not good and the subscription level rate has been pretty low because I haven't really done much. And today's the 28th of May that I'm filming this, and so we've been in lockdown for quite a long time, and it's been at the back of my mind to do a YouTube video, but I've only just got round to doing it. Anyway, enough of the faff. Because it's been such a long time, I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. My name's Julia Obiamiwe. I am a lawyer in the UK. I'm a solicitor. I'm a legal aid solicitor, so I work. Most of my clients can't afford to pay. The government pays for them. But I also have a blog. My blog is called The Yo-Yo Chronicles. I tend to sort of keep up with the blog because writing is easier for me than making videos, and the reason is that I've got perfectionist tendencies and I want my videos to be really perfect, and they're really rubbish at the moment, so that sort of puts me in analysis paralysis, and I don't want to sort of put out rubbish things. But I think imperfect action, as my friends say to me all the time, is better than perfection, so I've decided I'm going to give it a go. So one of the things I wanted to talk about was what happened following my very first Instagram live. I did it last week with a former classmate, and it started off a bit of a car crash on my part. I looked a bit weird. I've written about it in my blog. So if you want to read it, I'll link it in the description box below, so you can go and read a bit more about it. But I just wanted to flesh out a few points, and I've written them down. In fact, I'm looking at my draft blog post, so forgive me if you see me sort of glancing to the side. So I think the first thing I did wrong was I didn't know how to prepare for an Instagram live. I just didn't know what to do, because the format of the program is that you get introduced, and you get asked some general questions, and then the idea is that people just sort of type their questions and you respond to it. I didn't really know what to prepare, and because I didn't know what to prepare, I just felt so overwhelmed, and I ended up not doing any preparation at all, which was the first mistake that I made. And then on the actual day, by sheer coincidence, it happened to be a very full day. I'll talk about it. I even attended a funeral on the day, which I hadn't planned for. So basically not preparing turned out to be a really bad mistake. But anyway, to touch on some of the points that we discussed, we talked about plastic surgery for weight loss. And my view is, I don't have any judgment about plastic surgery. In fact, as I was saying to Bosse, who my friend who was the host on the day, as I was saying to Bosse, the first time I wanted to lose a lot of weight, and by a lot of weight, I think I wanted to lose about 2 stone in weight. This was a very long time ago, back in possibly 2003, 2004. I was actually looking for a plastic surgeon. I decided I was going to have liposuction and have a tummy tuck. But when I did the research, I couldn't find any results that looked worth the trouble. I was worried about having black skin and ending up with keloids, so that was a big concern of mine. And I could see that even where some of the patients had liposuction, the result wasn't always as you would expect. So I gave myself a deadline, and I thought, well, I will keep on looking for the right sort of plastic surgery, but if I didn't find it, in the meantime, I would be working hard and working out in the gym. And in the end, that's what I did, and I ended up hitting my goal, and I didn't really need any plastic surgery. But I don't judge it. I know that for some people, if in an ideal world, if you could do plastic surgery and you could keep, you could keep the weight off and keep your figure as was, then, no judgment as far as I'm concerned. Then the second thing we talked about in terms of surgery was bariatric surgery. And again, I said that, again, no judgment, but if you look at it, I mean, if you have bariatric surgery, with some of the surgery you have to be on supplements and specialist medication for the rest of your life. So again, if it's possible to do it the other way, where you don't have to have any of that medication, why not do that? But I could see why, sorry, my laptop is blinking off. I could see why a surgeon would decide that it would be better for their patient to have that surgery rather than risk dying from diseases related with being, morbidly obese. So that's what we talked about. And then Bossa pressed me about three things. She said 3 things, pieces of advice that you would give anyone, embarking on a weight loss journey or to get healthier. And the first one I said was to cut out sugar. And particularly with our Nigerian diet, there's just so much. First of all, we eat huge portions of rice. I know I did, and I still love rice. So that's the first thing, sort of white rice. The obvious things like cakes, biscuits, all of that. All the processed sugar, just cut that out, and if possible, cut it out cold turkey. But if you can't cut it out cold turkey, then just reduce it a little bit at a time. At least that's the way I stopped having sugar in my tea. And then she said, what would be my second point? And I said, well, move more. And then Bossa pointed out that there are a lot of Nigerian women who drive to work, they drive back. So it's very, very difficult. And I can totally relate to that, because I remember a time when I would drive to work and drive back, and I used to wear a pedometer, and every day I would manage some days I didn't even manage 300 steps. And when you think that doctors advise you to have a minimum of 10,000 steps in a day, you can imagine that wasn't anywhere near good enough. And of course, I put on loads of weight, and it was following that. I think at my heaviest, I was 185 pounds. I'm 5'4", and I just didn't feel good. I was really heavy. I'd gone over BMI 30, so I was obese. And so I had to work very hard to lose that weight, and it was very, very difficult. So that would be the second piece of advice. Then the third piece of advice that we talked about is I think what's different for me now is, I think all my life, if I've gained weight, I was almost slightly arrogant about it. So in my teens and my 20s, if I gained a bit of weight and I didn't like the way I looked, I just ran it off over the summer. And so that's what I would do. I'd run it off until I got to a point in my life where it just didn't work. It didn't matter how many miles I put in. A, I couldn't run as fast as I could previously. And B, my body was just so used to the junk cardio. It was like, yeah, she does this all the time. We're not budging. We're staying here. And the muffin tops would just be there. So that's the third, the third thing. I would say just, I think I've mixed my points. I think I was talking about moving more, and I've mixed that up with something else. Anyway, I'll see what I can do in post-production to sort that out for you. But I think the third point that Bossa and I discussed was just understanding that this is a lifestyle. There never comes a time when you shouldn't be sort of thinking about your health. I think what I've noticed on this last journey, bear in mind I started losing weight, like I said, in September 2014. So this is the longest that I've ever been on a sort of weight loss, shall I say weight loss journey. Let's put it that way. But I think now, it's been so long since, it will be 6 years in September of 2020, because I started in September 2014, and it's taken me this long to just get to a point where I am not overweight. At the beginning of this year, my weight had gone down to 138 pounds, Now with the lockdown and COVID, it has bounced back up to 146. So at 146 pounds, I'm just at the top of, I'm BMI 25. So I don't really have any wriggle room, and I really need to come down in weight. But I think that the point is that it's a lifestyle. It isn't something that you get to your goal weight and you stop. And I think that's the mistake that I made other times, that I would get to a point where I felt comfortable with my clothes, I felt happy, and I would stop. And I think that's the difference. I think it's a lifestyle. You need to be vigilant all the time. You need to be working on it. You never need to get to that point where you think, okay, I've done it now, and it's brilliant, I can stop. So that's the third point that I wanted to mention. In terms of not moving around, going back to the point about movement, I think that if I had my time again when I was driving to work and coming back, I think what I would have done is, no, I wouldn't have done it, because I was going to say I would have been skipping during my lunch period. I don't think I would have done that. I wouldn't have wanted to be sweaty and disheveled at work. So for me, the only options were to run or cycle to work, and I did them as often as I could, and it didn't work. So but if you were the sort of person that you could work out lunchtime, then there are options that you can use. For instance, you could skip, you could do jumping jacks, power jacks, things like that. You could dance. We talked about dancing in church, praise and worship. There's a friend of mine that's when she goes to church, she dances as hard and burns as many calories as she would if she went clubbing. So, just a thought. And then the fourth bonus point was, oh my goodness, one of the reasons that my part of the Instagram live was like a car crash was, my goodness, I had a really, really busy day on the day, as things would go. And before that, I hadn't done any preparation whatsoever for it. And so I bounced out of a Legs, Bums and Tums online class, all sweaty, rushed into the bathroom, wiped myself down. My face looked pale, so I piled on powder on my face. I just looked so bad. I could not believe it. And I was sitting in this room right here, but I for some reason turned the camera the other way, so there was less light. I don't know why I felt I needed to turn the camera that way. I didn't even test it. Normally the camera is this way because the window's behind you and I'm filming with natural light. So anyway, that's what I did, and I looked like a ghost, and I really didn't look good, and I felt uncomfortable. And at least I felt uncomfortable until the topics, I got sort of engrossed in the topics and I stopped thinking about how bad I looked. But anyway, those are my points. And as I normally do on the blog, I'll give you a little summary about where I am with my personal weight loss journey. So before, if you're sort of following my blogs, you'll see that before COVID, I think in January, by the time I did my last face-to-face session with Odell, my weight was 138 pounds. So in total, since I stopped training with Odell, I've gained 8 pounds, and I can feel it. And there was a point where I lost a bit, and I've gained a bit, and I've lost a bit, and I gained a bit. And I think the reason for that is that I was managing to do so much cardio, so my weight was going down. And so now at the moment, even though I've managed to get my eating under control, so I'm not putting on too much weight, but I'm just not moving enough. And there's sometimes when I'm super busy with work that I don't even get to leave home, which is bad. So I know I'm back in that territory, even though some days I'm doing 2 exercise classes of about, I think my exercise classes on average about 45 minutes. Some days I do 2 in a day, but it's still not enough calorie expenditure for me to keep my weight where I need it to be. So I need to make adjustments there. Anyway, guys, that's it. That's it for this video. I have been vlogging during the lockdown, and at some point I'm gonna sit down and organize my videos and edit them and upload them. But this is all I have to say on this one for now. I hope you're all keeping safe and well, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now. Oh yeah, please like and subscribe, because I think at the moment I've got how many subscribers? Not a lot, you know, mainly my friends that I've bullied. So if you like this content, there's more coming. So please subscribe and then ring the bell. Bye for now.